Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ryan Retro channel. I've been working on an idea since I first saw this tiny little hard drive called the Plank, announced around 6 months ago. It's a tiny little hard drive designed for iPhones to record 4K 120 frames per second video on an external drive, because Apple charge extortionate rates for storage. But being able to record in 4K 120 frames per second means that it's just a really fast drive, so it can be used for a variety of things. Ever since I saw that product announced, I've been looking for a tiny little hard drive like that I can use among all of my devices to keep my big game library, all of my save files and everything like that I can easily just transfer between all of the handhelds I own. In come Zike. They recently got in touch with me to ask me if I'd like to review one of their telescopic gaming controllers. Unfortunately, my iPhone has the Lightning port on it, so I can't use any of those USB-C gamepads. So I have to reject about 20 of those emails a week. But I had a little bit of a peruse through the Zike website, and I found that they actually have quite a few interesting products. Looking around through their website, I discovered this. The Zike Z791C. It has a similar style to the Plank drive I wanted before, but it looked possibly even better. I asked Zike if they could send me this instead of a telescopic controller, and thankfully they said yes, so thank you Zike for sending over this product. It has a built-in screen which shows you useful information like the rate at which it's charging, the battery lifespan remaining, and also the speed it can transfer data. That screen on the front actually reverses as well, so if you were to turn the device upside down, it actually flips around and is still visible, which is nice. It has a pass-through USB-C connector as well, so you can still charge your device while using it, or connect other accessories as well. And the back has two MagSafe magnets, so you can connect it securely on the back of your MagSafe iPhone, and if you have an Android phone, you can use a MagSafe ring like this one, peel off the sticker, put that on your phone, and use it in the same way. If you are going to use it like that, you can use the included USB-C extension cables that come with the device like this, or you can just simply plug it directly into the USB-C port on the end of your device like this, if you didn't have a prehistoric iPhone like me. When I connect the Zike SSD to my Odin 2 portal like this, you're going to see it show up in the file manager and register as a 1TB hard drive. There it is. But before I tell you exactly how I've been using this and how I intend to use it in the future, I want to run you through the situation that I dreamed up in my head, what I imagined when I first saw about these SSDs 6 months ago. My dream of having my entire game collection and all of their save files on this one tiny little unit that I could bring with me everywhere. You wake up in the morning and pull out the Retroid Pocket Classic you sleep with and play some classic World Cup 98 on the PlayStation 1. You get up out of bed and you now want to play on a bigger, more powerful device with a bigger screen. So you take the drive out of your Retroid Pocket Classic and you put it in your Odin 2 portal. And you jump into the Windows version of Grand Theft Auto 5. You then find yourself getting even more greedy for screen size and wanting to use an even bigger screen. So you take the Zike drive out of your Odin 2 portal and you put it into your iPad, where you jump into some classic Virtua Tennis after really getting into Wimbledon lately. You realize that playing retro games on an iPad is absolutely horrible, and it's time to go to work. So you take the Zike drive out of your iPad, and you put the Zike drive into your girlfriend's phone, because yours still doesn't have a USB-C connector, and you jump into a game of Super Mario Bros. On the NES for your commute to work. You arrive at work and jump into some Pokemon Fire Red on your work laptop. You get fired for playing games instead of doing your job, and then you have all day long to slide your Retroid Pocket Flip 2 into your custom-made dock and swap your dead-end job for a life exploring beautiful islands of the Wind Waker on Wii U. So that was my idea, to have all of my games and save files on this hard drive that I could take with me wherever I go. It turns out it's actually really difficult to synchronize saves among different systems, like Android, Mac, Windows, and SteamOS. Especially if you're using different emulators like RetroArch on Android, Delta on iOS, etc., which don't have compatible save files. If you do use RetroArch for everything, you can come into the Settings directory and you can change the save files and save states location to the external hard drive. And if you do that on all of your handhelds, they should synchronize quite nicely. But if you do want to synchronize among different systems and different handhelds, I would advise looking into SyncThing instead to synchronize across different devices over the internet. So while I do have a huge game collection on here and I am trying to synchronize my saves, the way I've actually been using this right now is just to hold some of the larger games that I don't play too often. My Steam Deck has a 512GB SD card in it, and I have another 1TB SD card that I share among all of the handhelds I'm using at any given time. Now, this is not too bad because I can easily just switch it among my handhelds, but some of these handhelds have quite tricky SD card doors that can be quite simple to put the SD card in, but in some cases getting them out is quite a hassle, and it sometimes scratches up my fingertips a little bit. So I've actually resorted to using a device opening pick in order to pry out the SD card and save my precious fingers. Now maybe I'm just being sensitive, but I've been hoping for a while to have something that's much easier to take in and out of my devices, that I could also just load up with games I don't really play that much, that I don't need to be in the device all the time. So that's where the idea of this comes along. It's far more simple to just take it in and out of any device freely. You can see it only takes a second or so to do so, and I can load this up with huge games that I'm not going to play that much. For example, on my Steam Deck, I have big games like modded Skyrim, Escape Room, and various Football Manager saves from over the years with all kinds of different modifications to them that I only play very rarely, but I don't want to completely delete. So having a centralized area like this where I can keep all those files and just plug it in as and when I want to use it is really, really nice. When it comes to the emulation side of things with something like an Odin 2 Portal, there is ongoing support for things like PlayStation 3 and Wii U. We get an update maybe every few weeks or months, and at that point I want to try out if it works well or not. But I don't want to keep those files always on here because they add up very quickly. PS3 games, for example, can easily get well over 100 gigabytes very quickly, and it's very unlikely any of them will even work. But when there is a big update to APS3E, or RPCS3, I want to try them out, and it's a bit of a hassle constantly grabbing them from my MacBook or my Mac Mini, wherever I have them stored at any given time. So keeping them on this drive and being able to simply open up the app and install them from here is really convenient for me. In my recent Wii U video, I run all of those Wii U games off of this hard drive on the Odin 2 Portal, so I never had to spend any time transferring them over. I just grabbed the new update for Cemu, opened it up, and I just started playing games from this hard drive. It was really simple. So when it does come to those systems that have large files like Wii U, PlayStation 3, Windows, Secret Console, and PlayStation Vita, it can be really nice to just keep them on something like this for the future if any updates come along. And of course then if you want to share those files from here over to another handheld, it's as quick as that. So in cases where that works perfectly, that is my preferred use case for this. But now I do need to tell you a caveat with this. For whatever reason, it is not compatible with Snapdragon 865 devices. So let's take my Flip 2 for example. When we plug it into the bottom, we will get a notification asking if we want to allow the file manager to use the SSD. It recognizes it. But if we press OK and open the file manager, it will never appear. It just cannot see this hard drive. I have spoken to the technical team at Zike and they said it's simply a compatibility issue, where the Snapdragon 865 specifically cannot recognize it. Which means the Retroid Pocket Flip 2, the Retroid Pocket 5, the Retroid Pocket Mini, they all have the exact same Snapdragon 865 processor inside. They're all not going to be compatible with this unless you first connect them to some kind of external dock and then connect the Zike drive to the dock. Then for whatever reason, it will then be displayed properly and you'll be able to access all of your files here like that. So unfortunately, the way I wanted to use it on my Snapdragon 865 devices like this is not possible due to a compatibility error. But if your use case would be to dock your device and then connect the Zike drive to the dock, that will work absolutely fine. And while it doesn't support the Snapdragon 865 processor, it has no issues with the Snapdragon G1 Gen 2 of the Retroid Pocket Classic, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 of the Odin 2 Portal or other Odin devices, the Steam Deck, my MacBook, my work laptop, my Mac Mini, everything else is working absolutely fine. There is just some weird specific compatibility error with the Snapdragon 865, and I really hope that can get fixed one day, but I do need to let you guys know for now, it's not compatible without an external dock. So if you have a device that can make use of the Zike drive, which is most of the ones I've tested, then having that extra 1 terabyte or even 2 terabytes, if you can afford that option, that can be accessed as quickly as just plugging in a little drive is a breath of fresh air for me and really helpful as someone who has a sickening obsession with collecting handhelds. And if you are someone who only has 1 or 2 handhelds, like a Steam Deck and a Retroid Pocket Classic for example, you probably wouldn't need something like this. But I know a lot of people watching this video have have that same sickening addiction I do. And not only do you have multiple handhelds now, you know you're only going to get more and more and more in the future. So for somebody like that, something really nice and accessible like this is really handy. And outside of my use case for gaming, it's also just a really fast SSD. So you could even just plug it into your laptop when you're editing videos or transferring data very quickly from one device to another. I'm actually editing this very video on it right now. I've taken all the videos from this recording and put them on the SSD so they don't need to go on my laptop and use up all my storage space. As once again, Apple's storage prices are extortionate. In the past, I tried to edit with a little USB stick like this. I had a quite expensive Samsung one, and it worked quite well until about maybe 1 hour in, where it would just die sometimes. I think it would just overheat because it doesn't have any cooling, and video editing is quite intensive over time. Whereas the Zike drive actually has a fan and ventilation on it. Before getting the Zike drive, what I was using to edit my videos was actually this really nice Samsung T5 portable SSD. And you'll find this one recommended by a lot of people, and I can also highly recommend it too because it's excellent. The only real downside with it is you need a cable coming out the side of your computer, and you then need to figure out what to do with this drive when it's just hanging out and dangling around. If you're at a desk like this, it's not really a big deal, you can just put it down. But if you're editing on the sofa with your laptop on your lap, this is just dangling around. It's quite annoying. You might actually be able to make out this circle here because I actually stuck a MagSafe sticker to this and then stuck a MagSafe puck on my laptop so it would magnetically stay in place. But since getting the Zike drive, I no longer need to use this. I can replace it with simply just this, and it's a lot cleaner, and the best part is it's easy to use on my lap. Now, there is one downside to this, which is that it actually covers up both my USB ports. It only uses one USB port, but it covers up the other one. I did try to play around with if I could somehow wrangle the phone adapter around it. And while it does go in, it seems like a bad idea, so I'm not going to do that. So for now, my editing setup is to put the Zike drive inside the USB-C port, and then I can still use the pass-through to charge the laptop while I'm editing. Or if I'm using my Mac Mini, similarly, I can just put this straight into the front of my Mac Mini and edit my videos there. It's a really nice little device for creators as well as gamers. So to summarize, I think the Zike drive is really nice for those of us with big game collections who want to keep it backed up and take it with us wherever we go. If you do have a Snapdragon 865 device and you really want to use this with it, you're not going to be able to without a hub, so please do keep that in mind. But if you have almost any other device, it should work well. And remember, it's not only for gaming devices, it's also for your computers, for your laptops, for your Android phones or iPhones if it has a USB-C port. You can record video to this, you can use it for file transfer. It has so many uses, and I think it's a genuinely useful device. If you do want to buy one, I will put a link in the description to the official website. It's not an affiliate link, I don't get anything if you use it, but you can get a discount if you use the code on the screen now and in the description. So if you do want to pick one up, get yourself a discount, even though I won't get anything, that's okay. I hope you get the best deal you can. And if you do want to buy something else and support me, check out my affiliate links to the handhelds I've shown in this video in the description, as that will help me out. I'm also going to continue working on my dock design for various handhelds, so watch that space too. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and jump into the comments where I would love to talk to you. Thank you for watching. Bye.